So let me turn on this slide projector. Let's see, is that what I'm going to do here? Yeah, I'm going to give you a way to think about what living cells are, so you can have a piece of paper out to take a few notes here. Can I scoot through here? Just get to the slide projector. I want to try to leave this projector set up.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's hope this guy fires up. There we go. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about cells here. So, I'm going to show you some of the same slides you already saw last week by way of review. Here we go. You all with me? Everybody on the court in the game? Everyone looking? Paying attention? Checked in? Stop fumbling around with whatever you're doing and watch and listen. So, all living things are made of cells, as you know, and like those retinal rod cells or these nerve cells from a human embryo, and also bacteria are made of cells. We're going to hopefully look at some bacteria tonight in terms of slides. So all living things are made of cells, and I'm now going to give you a way to think about what all cells are. So let's do this first as a kind of a kinesthetic. You know what, I think what happens here is this kind of overheats. I think I'll turn this off. All right, talk with me. Great way to think about what cells are. First we'll talk through it, and then I'll let you write it. Understand it first. So, all cells have four supremely important things. Can you turn on just the front, just the top light? One on the left there. Thanks. Okay. All cells have four supremely important things. One, a membrane to protect the cell. Two, little machines called proteins that do everything in the cell. Three, what do all machines need to run them? Energy. So they all have an energy harnessing system whose job is to power the protein machines. Remember, don't write yet. I'm going to give you time to write this in a second. Okay? I promise. They all have an energy harnessing system to power the machines. And finally, where do those machines come from? They don't fall down out of the sky. They have to be made by the cell using information. And so all cells have, what provides the information to string the amino acids together to make the protein machines? That would be DNA. Okay? Say it and do the kinesthetics. We'll do it a couple times. Talk with me. All cells have four supremely important things. A membrane to protect the cell. Little machines called proteins that do everything in the cell. Three, an energy system to power the machines. And DNA to make the machines. Faster. All cells have four supremely important things. Membrane to protect the cell. Protein machines. Energy system to power the machines. And DNA to make the machines. What's your name? Stand up. Tell me what I just said. This is how you study. You review things. You say it again. You pretend you're in front of a class. Do the kinesthetics. Loud. All cells do everything I did.
All cells have four.
Louder. Much louder.
All cells have four
supremely important things.
One, membrane.
To what? Protect the cell. Two. Okay, you're not supposed to be writing. You're supposed to be listening to your colleague right
proteins.
Let her do it.
And then 3.
2 is what?
Proteins to make the machines.
Not to
Proteins.
make the machines. The proteins are the machines.
And then 3, energy for the proteins. And then 4, DNA to make the machines.
DNA to make the machines. Okay. Stand up and say it again, louder, faster.
Okay, there's 4 essential things to a cell.
I call them 4 supremely important things.
4 supremely important things in a cell.
In all cells.
In all cells.
Do the kinesthetics with your hand like a good teacher would.
The first one is the membrane, and that's used to protect the cell. The second is proteins that are used to provide the cell's function.
I'll just say the little machines that
machines
do everything in cells
everything in the cell
are proteins.
The proteins, and then the proteins need power source, so there's a power system in place.
To power the machines,
To power the machines, and then to build the machines, DNA is required.
DNA to make the machine. Now on your paper, use a whole piece of paper and write those 4 things and spread them out down the paper because you're going to fill it in with more notes. Spread it out all the way down the paper. Go, quick. Okay. Abbreviate like a good college student. Okay, you're going to use abbreviations, all cells for SUP, S-U-P, for supremely. Write fast. Got to learn how to take notes in college. You're going to fill this in later at home. So, membrane, protein machines, energy system to power the machines, and what? DNA to make the machines. Great way to think about cells. Okay, pencils down and talk with me. Here we go. Membranes. Keep the good stuff in, keep the bad stuff out. Act as the border between the order inside the cell and the chaos outside. Trillions of collisions per second. Okay, say it again. Good stuff in, bad stuff out. Act as the border between the order inside the cell and chaos outside. Write it. Abbreviate. Quick. Good in, bad out. Order between order and chaos. Okay. Look up. Protein machines include, you're looking at me, motors that carry motors, pumps, and enzymes. Okay, let's do a little kinesthetic. Grab a pen or a pencil. How the motors work? They step along, step, literally, and they carry cargoes. You'll see them moving chloroplasts around on Thursday. Motor protein has at least 3 domains. It's got what I call, these aren't the technical terms, but I refer to them as stepping domain, like little legs. Okay, you have an ATP burning domain, which is burns adenosine triphosphate, the fuel that powers all protein machines. Kind of like the engine of the motor, engine of the protein. And then they have what are called cargo carrying domains. And you have about 800 different motor proteins in the human body. So say it, stepping domain, ATP burning domain, and the cargo carrying domain. Those are the motors. Okay, the pumps act like this. Let's do a kinesthetic. If you have a membrane, and there's a transmembrane pump protein, They, like, it might be a 12-pass transmembrane protein, and they click open and close like this. And they're acting kind of like this. If here's the membrane and here's the pump, let's say that it's a glucose transporter. Its job is to transport glucose sugar into the cell, which glucose is a water-loving molecule which would never get across an oily membrane by itself. So the pumps work like this. They click open, and in comes glucose right here where my finger is, or my tongue is. And then it goes like this. And see how now the glucose has nowhere to go but out? Get the idea? So do it. Click open, glucose comes in, click like that, and now glucose has nowhere to go but out. Click, 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 and every time they go through one machine cycle, one pump cycle, they burn one ATP molecule. Say that. Every time they go through one pump cycle, they burn one ATP molecule. That's how pumps work. And the third protein machine that we'll talk about tonight are enzymes. And those, as you should know, are the protein machines that act like hands to grab other molecules. I didn't bring any of my models here tonight, but they act like hands to build up other molecules or break them down. So say it and do it. We have three famous kinds of protein machines are motors, pumps, and enzymes. Motors have a stepping domain, an ATP burning domain, and a cargo carrying domain. The pumps go like this. And enzymes act like hands to grab other molecules and break them down or build them up. So you write that now. Motors, pumps, enzymes. I'll give you about 45 seconds to take notes on that. Okay, next, what do all machines need to run on? Energy. So here's the bit with the energy system. If you took my Bio 101, you know this really well, but okay, see this yellow thing? This is an electron. I use yellow to represent electrons in almost all my diagrams. And all living cells run on high voltage electrons that fall from a high voltage state to a, you should be watching me, keep your commitment to look at me and pay attention. I'm doing a really good kinesthetic right now that you don't want to miss. You're not supposed to be taking notes when I'm talking like this. All cells run on high voltage electrons that fall from a high voltage to a low voltage state as, what do we call this stuff? When an electron moves, what do we call moving electrons? You be quiet. You know this already. You know this already. What do we call moving electrons? It's called electricity. Okay, say that. Moving electrons are electricity. Okay, so say it again. All living things run on high voltage electrons that they got somehow, and I'll tell you how they get them in a minute, that fall from a high voltage state to a low voltage state, and as electricity, literal electricity, and as they fall, they release